On my 22nd birthday, he stumbled upon my diary. He urgently shipped me abroad, then splurged millions on wedding preparations to marry his childhood sweetheart. Years later, I returned holding an infant. His face froze. Yours? I smiled and nodded. Amham. Just finished my postpartum confinement. As the plane took off, I still felt somewhat dazed. Never in my wildest dreams did I think I'd return after 5 years abroad, after all. Shun Huichuan had sworn I should never show my face before him again in this lifetime. Yet ironically, it was he who personally booked my return ticket, summoning me back for his anniversary celebration with Cheng Mingyu. After 2 connecting flights, I finally touched down. Sui Sui slept soundly throughout the flight, but burst into tears the moment we landed. Mommy, my feet hurt. Hearing her quiet sobs, I immediately scooped her up and headed for the arrival's exit. As I reached the station exit, I pulled out my phone to hail a ride. Just then, my phone rang. Staring at that familiar number on the screen, I hesitated, should I answer? In the end, I let it go to voicemail. But the second call came ringing through almost immediately. With a sigh, I answered it anyway. Shun Huichuan's voice came through the line, years without speaking. Yet his voice hadn't changed a bit. Made it through customs. I've sent my assistant to pick you up. Shun Huichuan said it in that detached, businesslike tone, as if we were strangers. I gave a bitter chuckle. I can just grab a cab. There was a beat of silence on the line, clearly not the response Shun Huichuan had expected. After all, he took excellent care of me back then. During those years by his side, I never had to worry about daily necessities. Why would I ever need to hail a cab myself? After a brief silence, Shun Huichuan said casually, "Let the assistant handle it. I've bought Mingyu a gift on your behalf. It's in the trunk. You can take it when you come for dinner." Shun Huichuan remained as thoughtful as ever, even anticipating gift-giving details perfectly. Indeed, spending millions on venue decorations and auctioning limited-edition diamonds to craft Cheng Mingyu's one-of-a-kind engagement ring, it's clear how deeply he loves her. Got it. I rubbed my temples and answered him quietly. Shun Huichuan fell silent but didn't hang up. After a long pause, Shun Huichuan finally spoke. "Jiangyu, 5 years abroad, I hope you've truly reflected. If you dare lay a finger on Cheng Mingyu, you'll answer to me." His words left me stunned. The surrounding noise seemed to fade into silence. Shun Huichuan said he wouldn't let me off. Before I could respond, Shun Huichuan hung up. Shun Huichuan really doesn't need to worry. I won't do anything to them. I just want to take good care of Sui Sui and find a decent job. That's all. As I left the airport, I lowered my head. My 22-year-old proud self would never have imagined life could sink to such lows. 2. Shun Huichuan shipped me off abroad on my 22nd birthday. That was the day he discovered my diary. When I was little, my parents disappeared during a cruise accident. None of my relatives wanted the burden of raising me. I became an unwanted orphan nobody would take in. Shun Huichuan, my neighbor, took pity on me and decided to sponsor my upbringing. We've always maintained a harmonious relationship. When I came of age, I realized Shun Huichuan meant more to me than just a benefactor. I fell in love with him, but I knew all too well that Shun Huichuan and I had no future together. So I poured all my hidden feelings into my diary. Had Shun Huichuan never read my diary, I might have kept pretending my feelings were just attachment. But he did. Shun Huichuan tore my diary to shreds, his usual gentlemanly demeanor gone. He screamed at me with undisguised loathing in his eyes. I desperately wanted to explain myself but couldn't find the words. All I could do was bow repeatedly, apologizing, admitting my mistake, regretting ever falling for him. But Shun Huichuan's rage didn't subside. The next day, he resigned from my secured job on my behalf. Under the pretense of overseas study, he exiled me to some obscure foreign university, to cut me off from the outside world. Shun Huichuan even hired bodyguards to keep watch over me. At first, I couldn't understand why Shun Huichuan would treat me this way. It wasn't until my first month abroad that Shun Huichuan's wedding news trended online. Only then did I realize he'd been carrying a torch for someone else all these years. I've rewatched Shun Huichuan's wedding video countless times. In the footage, Shun Huichuan's gaze at Cheng Mingyu was tender and lingering. He never once looked at me that way. That moment made me realize Shun Huichuan had only kept me by his side all these years out of pity and obligation. Cheng Mingyu was the only woman he ever loved. Miss Jiang, please get in the car. My assistant's voice snapped me out of my thoughts. Chapter 2. I nodded and carried the sleeping Sui Sui into the car. The assistant's face flickered with surprise upon seeing Sui Sui. Miss Jiang, is this? I raised a finger to my lips, worried our conversation might wake Sui Sui. Only after settling in the back seat did I softly answer, "This is my daughter." The assistant nodded and fell silent. When he drove us to our destination, I froze momentarily. This was the very hotel where Shen Huichuan married Cheng Mingyu. For 5 years of marriage, he'd hosted anniversary celebrations annually and personally selected gifts for Cheng Mingyu. I think Shen Huichuan truly cherishes Cheng Mingyu. In previous years, he wouldn't let me into their world. Bringing me back this year was just his way of making me witness their happiness. Numbly stepping out of the car, I saw Cheng Mingyu standing by the roadside, smiling as she walked toward me. Unlike my weathered face and plain clothes, Cheng Mingyu wore expensive jewelry and perfume, every inch the well-cared-for woman under Shen Huichuan's devotion. Mingyu Cheng's smile froze abruptly. I knew instantly she'd spotted Sui Sui in my arms. Sure enough, when she reached me, Mingyu looked utterly shocked. You had a baby overseas without telling me. After all these years since I married your uncle Shen, you're still treating me like an outsider." Before I could respond, Mingyu had already scooped Sui Sui from my embrace without ceremony. Sui Sui woke up startled and immediately burst into tears, squirming to avoid Cheng Mingyu's embrace. I took Sui Sui back from Cheng Mingyu and soothed her for a while. Truth be told, Cheng Mingyu knew about my past crush on Shen Huichuan. This time returning home, I'd rather not have too much involvement with Cheng Mingyu. Yet Cheng Mingyu stubbornly insisted on holding Sui Sui. When Cheng Mingyu and I arrived at the private dining room, Sui Sui was still crying to be held by me. Cheng Mingyu forced a smile and handed Sui Sui back to me. "Your uncle Shen knows how hard childbirth is. We've never considered having children these past few years. Seeing you actually had a daughter, I just got too emotional." Several people were already seated in the private room, uncomfortable with socializing. I chose a corner seat, only for Cheng Mingyu to settle in right beside me. She even linked arms with me warmly while introducing both me and Sui Sui to others. The sidelong glances from others carried unmistakable teasing and curiosity. Unable to bear the awkward atmosphere, I excused myself to visit the restroom. As I returned from washing my face, I heard Cheng Mingyu's voice. Someone asked Cheng Mingyu why she'd brought such bad luck like me inside. "Bad luck? Jiang Yu is H1's friend's daughter. It's only right we look after her. Though she strayed before, she's had a child now, she won't make those mistakes again." Hearing Cheng Mingyu's words, I simply stood quietly by the private room's entrance. Yeah, to everyone else, I'm just some crazy homewrecker, a shameless bitch. Sui Sui tugged anxiously at my clothes. After calming her down, I still entered the private room. Some things just have to be faced. I don't know how much time passed before everyone in the room suddenly stood up. "President Shen's here. Good to see you, President Shen." The crowd swarmed forward while I remained seated, unmoving. Only after a long pause did I finally look up and meet Shen Huichuan's gaze. He seems to have lost some weight. Shen Huichuan stood in his suit with Cheng Mingyu leaning against him, their eyes brimming with shared laughter as they gazed at each other. Surrounded by admirers, Shen Huichuan never noticed me standing in the corner. All these years, he remained the center of attention as always, while I was the only one who ended up worse off. Suddenly remembering something, Cheng Mingyu nudged Shen Huichuan playfully with a smile. "H1, Jiang Yu's here too. It's been years since you two met, catch up properly." She's even brought back a little surprise. At the mention of surprise, Shen Huichuan remained impassive. He first helped Cheng Mingyu sit down, ordered her a bowl of red date and tremella soup, then finally lifted his gaze toward me. Sui Sui shrank back fearfully, her whole posture radiating wariness. Shen Huichuan clearly noticed Sui Sui too. His eyes widened abruptly. "Jiang Yu, what's this?" He was asking about Sui Sui. I'd never mentioned Sui Sui to them before, so when they saw me with her, their reactions were identical, either shocked or secretly amused. Cheng Mingyu spoke up for me. "H1, this is Jiang Yu's daughter. Isn't she adorable? The spitting image of her mother, and she must be at least a few years old already." Shen Huichuan's gaze lingered on Sui Sui before shifting to me, studying me intently for a long moment. Just when I thought Shen Huichuan would ignore me, he pointed at Sui Sui with a hoarse voice. During these years abroad, you've gotten married and had a child. I raised my head, meeting Shen Huichuan's eyes directly, and gave a quiet affirmation. Married long ago. My apologies for not informing you. Chapter 3. The surroundings were dead silent. Not a single voice to be heard. Shen Huichuan stared at me, as if weighing the truthfulness of my words. Cheng Mingyu seemed about to speak when Shen Huichuan stepped before me, demanding, "Where's your husband?" I pursed my lips. "He's been busy lately, so he couldn't make it." Whispers mingled with muffled laughter filled the room, though the guests seemed to restrain themselves out of respect for Shen Huichuan. Shen Huichuan's face darkened with anger, but he ultimately remained silent and simply took his seat beside Cheng Mingyu. The meal tasted like ashes in my mouth. Everyone else was gushing about how perfect Shen Huichuan and Cheng Mingyu were together, but all I wanted was to take Sui Sui somewhere quiet to rest. The rent here is quite reasonable, still within my budget. I don't want to go abroad anymore. The meal wrapped up sooner than expected. I tried to leave, but Shen Huichuan stopped me, saying he had something to discuss. In the end, Shen Huichuan and I remained alone in the private room. Cheng Mingyu was there too. Shen Huichuan turned his frosty gaze toward me, his words as cold as his expression. "Jiangyu, now that we're both settled into our respective families, I'd appreciate it if you'd refrain from contacting me in the future." Cheng Mingyu suppressed a smile as she said, "Chuan, don't be so harsh on Jiangyu. She's grown into a sensible young woman who knows her boundaries." The couple's perfectly synchronized remarks showcased their marital harmony, while I stood there, conspicuously excluded from this intimate understanding. They never believe my promises, yet I nodded and bowed again. "It won't happen again," I said. Neither spoke as I turned away with Sui Sui in my arms. Shen Huichuan offered his assistant to see me out, but this time I declined. After returning to our rented apartment with Sui Sui, she suddenly whispered to me, asking if the uncle and aunt we met today disliked her. "They say children notice everything, nothing escapes their keen perception." I shook my head. "They don't dislike Sui Sui, they just dislike me." Sui Sui seemed to have so many questions for me, but ultimately didn't ask any. She just hugged me tightly and whispered, "Mommy, you've worked so hard." The tears I'd been holding back all day threatened to spill over at that moment, but I couldn't cry in front of Sui Sui, so I tilted my head back and swallowed the tears. Right after putting Sui Sui to sleep, I suddenly got a text message. The sender was Cheng Mingyu. "Jiangyu, let's talk when you're free." I frowned and told her she could just text me directly. Cheng Mingyu never replied. Right before bedtime, Cheng Mingyu called. "I'm downstairs. Just need to ask you one thing. Still thinking about going abroad? Both H1 and I actually hope you'd stay overseas. Besides, isn't your husband there too? You'd be better off abroad." I was momentarily bewildered, but upon realizing the situation, found it rather amusing. The only thing that could make Cheng Mingyu contact me at this ungodly hour would be this. They both detest me to this extent. They can't even stand being in the same country together. I glanced at Sui Sui sleeping soundly beside me. When I reached downstairs, Cheng Mingyu stood exactly where I expected under the streetlight. Standing before her, I took a deep breath before meeting her gaze. "I've decided not to go abroad, for Sui Sui's sake. I won't drag her through exhausting travels anymore." Cheng Mingyu let out a soft chuckle. With no one else around, her eyes finally revealed undisguised contempt. "Jiangyu, I know you're desperate for money right now. What if I could give you a sum? Would you be willing to leave the country?" Chapter 4:3. I fell silent for a moment. My financial struggles were common knowledge by then. Cheng Mingyu and Shen Huichuan knew exactly how tough life abroad had been for me. They pinpointed my vulnerabilities when making threats. But I declined. Cheng Mingyu seemed taken aback. That evening ended rather awkwardly between Cheng Mingyu and me. In the following days, I kept job hunting but kept getting eliminated in the first round interviews. It was a young interviewer who hesitantly told me this was Director Cheng's order. Only then did I realize Cheng Mingyu wouldn't even let me look for a job. Cheng Mingyu was dead set on making me go abroad again, after standing frozen for what felt like ages. I thanked the interviewer who'd told me the truth. The moment I stepped out of the interview building, I got a text from the hospital. Last night, I booked a hospital appointment to get some antidepressants. During the consultation, The doctor told me I've been in poor condition lately and suggested more counseling sessions. Doctors had given me similar advice back when I was abroad. It seems my depression has indeed become quite severe. As I walked out of the clinic with my medication, I was reading the instructions when I accidentally bumped into someone at the corner. "I'm sorry," I blurted out the apology first, only to look up and find Shen Huichuan standing before me, and right behind him stood Cheng Mingyu. Shen Huichuan frowned slightly, appearing unwilling to speak with me as he made to leave directly. Just then, Shen Huichuan suddenly noticed the medicine in my hand. "Jiangyu, what brings you to the hospital?" He seemed to want to see what I was holding. But I quickly stuffed the medicine box into my bag. "Just came to get some meds for a cold." Cheng Mingyu chimed in at just the right moment. "There really have been quite a few flu cases lately." Shen Huichuan remained silent, his gaze still fixed on my bag. I lowered my head and hurried downstairs. Running into Shen Huichuan was completely unexpected. I used to long to see Shen Huichuan, but he was always tied up before going abroad. Our meetings could be counted on one hand. Most days he'd just occasionally shoot me a text or two. After I left the country, Shen Huichuan completely ghosted me. Ironically, after returning home when I least wanted to run into him, Shen Huichuan kept popping up everywhere. I've been struggling with depression for a long time. At my lowest point, I experienced severe psychosomatic symptoms and even contemplated jumping, but somehow found the strength to keep going. When I got home, Sui Sui was waiting for me in the living room. Sui Sui didn't sleep well last night. I decided to put her to bed early, but just as I was finally drifting off, I caught a whiff of something burning. Sui Sui was sound asleep, completely oblivious to anything amiss. At first I thought the neighbors had burnt their dinner, but as the acrid smell grew stronger, I realized something was wrong. I bolted upright and rushed to the window, where thick plumes of smoke were billowing into the sky. The building was on fire. A flood of memories surged through me as I scooped up Sui Sui from the bed without hesitation, rubbing her sleepy eyes. Sui Sui murmured groggily, "Mommy, what's wrong?" When Sui Sui realized the fire around us, she clutched my sleeve tightly and whispered, "Mommy." My arms trembled as I held her, fear coursing through me. Stumbling through our front door, I rushed Sui Sui down the emergency exit. I fell 3 or 4 times along the way, my knees bruised and battered. But the adrenaline kept me moving without feeling the pain. As I rushed out the building entrance, I saw crowds of people already gathered outside. The fire alarm was sounding. The scene before me overlapped with memories of the past. Clutching Sui Sui, I slumped against the tree across from the building, my vision swimming with dizziness. Sui Sui asked me anxiously, "Mommy, are we going to die?" Snapping out of my thoughts, I held her tighter and said, "No, sweetheart. As long as Sui Sui stays by my side, I'll never let anything happen to her." Because Sui Sui's birth mother had already died saving me. Chapter 5:4. During my second year abroad, Shen Huichuan finally loosened his control over me. I met a Chinese counselor named Li Jing. She was a university therapist, and I reached out to her during my darkest depression. After confessing my feelings for my uncle, I expected Li Jing to think I was disgusting too. After all, that's how everyone else had judged me. But there wasn't. She encouraged me to move on from the past and even did experiments with me. She showed me many photos of Sui Sui from shortly after birth. Though Li Jing had just gone through divorce, her love for Sui Sui was undeniable. These were the days I came closest to recovering from depression. Then one night, flames erupted in the lab building. With my earplugs in, I missed the fire alarm. My advisor rushed upstairs to evacuate me. Just then, overheated ceiling fixtures came crashing down. She threw herself over me. The light fixture came crashing down right on her head. Before the firefighters arrived, she must have known it was hopeless. Clutching my hand, she begged me to adopt Sui Sui and raise her as my own daughter. I promised her I would. In the end, my mentor perished in the fire. Then I went to pick up Sui Sui. Sui Sui was too young to remember her mother clearly, and started calling me Mom from then on. Meanwhile, my depression kept worsening. The scene in the lab building flashes before my eyes whenever I close them. It's become my personal torment. The only person who ever showed me kindness abroad has passed away. For years afterward, I was just going through the motions of living. Coming to my senses, I realized my back was drenched in sweat. Just then, a car pulled up right in front of me. As the door opened, I saw Shen Huichuan's face. Leaving the car door open, he strode straight toward me and asked if I was hurt. I heard there was a fire here. Come on, I'll take you to the hospital. Shen Huichuan forgot all about propriety and grabbed my wrist directly. I jerked my hand away sharply. Mr. Shen, I'm fine. Don't trouble yourself. This time, however, his reaction was unusually intense. Jiangyu, what the hell do you take me for? I found your medical records abroad last December alone. You visited psychiatric clinics at least 3 times. You're battling depression, aren't you? Why keep this from me? Facing Shen Huichuan's torrent of accusations, I could only taste bitter irony. Of all people in this world, Shen Huichuan has the least right to judge me. He pressed on relentlessly. And you never even registered our marriage. Jiangyu, what exactly have you been doing overseas all these years? How could you sink this low? Sui Sui shrank behind me in terror, tears streaming down her face. After taking a deep breath, I raised my hand and slapped Shen Huichuan hard across the face. His remaining words stuck in his throat like a jammed tape recorder. Shen Huichuan touched his stinging cheek and stared at me blankly. Shen Huichuan, what exactly do you want me to say? I spoke calmly, that depression makes my life unbearable, that I narrowly escaped a shooting overseas. That I live in constant fear. Be honest, would you even care? And seems like you've forgotten one crucial thing. You never allowed me to contact you. Shen Huichuan fell silent. After a few seconds, he took a step toward me. I shook my head weakly and took half a step back. Let's leave it at this, Shen Huichuan. This is just how my life turned out, isn't it? From now on, my only wish is to sever all ties with Shen Huichuan. 5 years was more than enough time to see someone's true colors. I picked up Sui Sui and walked out of Shen Huichuan's sight. Chapter 6, 5. Due to the fire investigation, we were relocated to a nearby hotel. Sui Sui behaved so well, staying quiet and calm even in unfamiliar surroundings. The investigation results were utterly horrifying. This fire was caused by deliberate arson. The mastermind who hired someone to set the fire was Cheng Mingyu. Perhaps Cheng Mingyu had already decided to kill me the moment I refused to go abroad. Cheng Mingyu was taken to the police station. I despise her, but the fact that Sui Sui and I are still alive is blessing enough. I thought Shen Huichuan would keep standing by Cheng Mingyu, but he announced their divorce the very next day. Along with the divorce announcement, Shen Huichuan also revealed his and Cheng Mingyu's secret. It turns out their marriage was merely a business alliance and PR stunt, playing the devoted couple to boost stock prices. Bowing to reporters, Shen Huichuan confessed, I apologize for the years of deception, but the truth is, Cheng Mingyu was never my true love. Reading this news report, I couldn't help but find the whole situation bitterly ironic. Just days ago they celebrated their wedding anniversary, yet today Shen Huichuan and Cheng Mingyu finalized their divorce. At the police station, Cheng Mingyu confessed her attempted murder plot against me. Cheng Mingyu refused to apologize and showed no remorse. I've met Cheng Mingyu once. Cheng Mingyu looked more weathered, yet her gaze toward me still burned with resentment. Jiangyu, my only regret is not ordering them to finish you off. So what if I forced Shen Huichuan to marry me? We've been husband and wife for 5 years. This is all your fault. If you hadn't returned to China, I'd never have tried to kill you. Watching Cheng Mingyu's deranged, hysterical outburst, I felt nothing but sorrow. Just before leaving, I spoke my first words at the police station. Cheng Mingyu, after all your scheming, did you get what you wanted? Cheng Mingyu fell silent. The sound of quiet sobbing came from behind. I walked out of the police station. Fate's playing a cruel joke on me. If I could turn back time, I'd never fall for Shen Huichuan. 6. The fire incident caused quite a stir, prompting many to dig deeper into Shen Huichuan and Cheng Mingyu's relationship. It was then revealed that Cheng Mingyu had indeed initiated contact with Shen Huichuan multiple times, and the two had signed a marriage of convenience agreement before tying the knot. Shen Huichuan himself emphasized that their relationship was purely contractual, but I know eyes don't lie. Whenever Shen Huichuan looked at Cheng Mingyu, there was unmistakable affection in his gaze. Had Cheng Mingyu not made such a mistake, Shen Huichuan would probably still be on her side. For Sui Sui's safety, I've decided to move further away with her. Besides, Sui Sui's reached kindergarten age now, so I've enrolled her. Sui Sui was absolutely thrilled on her first day at kindergarten. I was already waiting at the kindergarten gate long before dismissal time. When Sui Sui came out, she happily threw herself into my arms. "Mommy, lots of kids cried today, but I didn't." I patted her head affectionately. "Our Sui Sui is such a brave girl." Sui Sui kept chattering until she abruptly stopped mid-sentence. She lifted her head timidly and glanced away, sensing something amiss. I followed Sui Sui's gaze and spotted Shen Huichuan. Dark circles shadowed Shen Huichuan's eyes. Betraying sleepless nights, pressing his lips together, he stared at me and Sui Sui. Chapter 7. Sui Sui still remembered how deflated I became after Shen Huichuan yelled at me last time. In the end, it was Shen Huichuan who approached me. "Jiangyu, I know everything now." Alarm bells went off in my head the moment he said that. I tried to leave, but Shen Huichuan stubbornly blocked my path. "This child, she's your advisor's, isn't she? I could help raise her with you. Your room, I've kept it exactly as it was. Jiangyu, if you just turn around, there'll always be a chance for us." I held Sui Sui in silence. How beautifully Shen Huichuan spoke. "As long as I turn back, there will always be a chance for us." Why isn't he saying we're impossible now? I think Shen Huichuan might not actually like me. He just doesn't want to lose me, no matter what role I play in his life. I shook my head. "Shen Huichuan, there's no need to say these things. It's all in the past. The good and the bad, they're all behind us now. The past isn't worth clinging to, and I won't cling to it." Meeting Shen Huichuan's startled gaze, I spoke slowly. "You were right before. What I felt for you was more dependence than affection. Thank you for helping me realize that. I don't need Shen Huichuan at all anymore." That was the last time I ever saw Shen Huichuan. He seemed to stare at me for a long while, but I just kept walking. After we got home, Sui Sui whispered to me that she'd glanced back and seen Shen Huichuan crying. He was crying so bitterly. Sui Sui looked unsettled. Perhaps she'd never seen an adult cry before. I nodded. "So, what would you like for dinner tonight?" Sui Sui, kids are so easy to cheer up. The moment food was mentioned, Sui Sui forgot all about what just happened and eagerly started discussing dinner options with me. My phone rang as I stepped into the kitchen. When I checked it, I saw a job offer notification. I'd passed the interview from last week and got officially hired. Finally, this day has come. After weathering so many storms, I've come to realize that a peaceful, uneventful life is truly the greatest happiness. 7. After that, I rarely heard any news about Shen Huichuan and Cheng Mingyu. All I know is that Cheng Mingyu received a death sentence, and the Cheng family disowned her as their daughter. Shen Huichuan was hospitalized for gastric bleeding due to work overload. He reached out to me during his hospital stay. He proactively suggested we complete inheritance notarization together, wishing to bequeath all his assets to me in case of unforeseen circumstances. I declined. To be precise, I don't actually need his inheritance. One late night, Shen Huichuan gave me a call. "Jiangyu, I deeply regret rejecting your confession back then, choosing Cheng Mingyu for business interests instead." His voice sounded hoarse. With a faint smile, I reminded Shen Huichuan. "But I've never confessed to you, nor do I intend to." He did read my diary, but confessing to him was never part of my plan. I just wanted to secretly cherish him for a while. That would have been enough. Yet I paid the price for that youthful infatuation. Shen Huichuan fell silent. I hung up before he could, then blocked his number. I suppose this marks my final farewell with Shen Huichuan. Time has eroded whatever feelings remained between us. Our next meeting might be at Shen Huichuan's funeral. My future remains unwritten. Extra chapter, Shen Huichuan's perspective. Some truths only reveal themselves through loss. When I found out Jiangyu had feelings for me, panic was my first reaction. Ignoring the secret thrill in my heart, I instinctively scolded her. That's when Cheng Mingyu brought up the arranged marriage proposal herself. Our family owes her a debt of gratitude. After a night of contemplation, I've reached my decision. Following Cheng Mingyu's wishes, I sent Jiangyu abroad, leaving a 5-year void in her life. When making this choice, I never imagined how fate's gears would turn. Cheng Mingyu and I agreed our arranged marriage would last only 6 years, but Cheng Mingyu wants to renew my contract. After Jiangyu returned, Cheng Mingyu couldn't sit still. She intends to harm Jiangyu. I dread to think what would happen to me if Cheng Mingyu succeeds. That day, I came to realize one thing. I could never afford to lose Jiangyu. Cheng Mingyu and I got divorced. But for now, I have no idea about the true origins of Jiangyu's child. But I knew one thing: I was in love with Jiangyu. I'd even settle for being the other man if she gave me the chance. After some digging, I discovered she was the daughter of her late mentor. My immediate reaction to this revelation was sheer euphoria. Jiangyu isn't dating or married, raising her child alone. Does this mean I still have a chance? I found Jiangyu, but nothing turned out the way I'd imagined. She turned me down, after being hospitalized with alcohol-induced gastric bleeding. I spotted Jiangyu, though she didn't notice me. The nurses started talking about her the moment she left. That's when I learned Jiangyu had kidney issues, might need transplant surgery. Right then, I made a borderline reckless decision. Anyway, all these years I've been buried in work, and death is probably just around the corner. But before I go, I want to leave Jiangyu something. If she doesn't want my inheritance, then I'll give her something else. Jiangyu can hate me, she can skip my funeral. But I hope she remembers me, please. This is my final wish. After signing the voluntary donation agreement, I felt relieved. Jiangyu, I hope you'll remember me differently. Even when death finally comes for me, at least I've left you something truly meaningful. Of course, I never told her about this. What a pity. There's no future between Jiangyu and me. Story 2. After graduating with my master's degree, I broke up with Jiang Xiang. Just because I attended her medical lecture instead of your graduation ceremony, he sneered. I nodded silently. You'll never grow up, he scoffed. Have it your way. Don't come crawling back to me later. From age 12 to 25, I was always chasing after him, so insecure that everyone thought I couldn't live without him. But this time, I'm truly exhausted. He doesn't know I've applied to study abroad, to a country far, far away from him. From then on, no one could stop him from doing things for his sister-in-law. 1. I'm attending Shuran's medical lecture. Jiang Xiang explained coldly. Meng Shuran was his sister-in-law. She once said, "We're the same age. Stop calling me sister-in-law, it makes me sound old." So Jiang Xiang started calling her Shuran without a second thought. I know, I muttered, biting my lip. Then why are you still upset? He sounded exasperated. Can you stop acting like a child? Jiang Xiang, I clenched my fists, mustering the courage to meet his gaze. Let's break up. Jiang Xiang leaned back in the clinic chair, lifting his eyes indifferently. Just because I missed your graduation ceremony. I nodded silently. You really want to break up? He asked. Song Qian, I don't have the patience for these on-again off-again games. Adults should think before they speak. Forever stuck in adolescence. He sneered. Have it your way, just don't come crawling back to me later. I nodded. Don't worry, I won't. As I turned to leave, Meng Shuran happened to walk through the door. Xiang, want to grab lunch together? There's something I need to ask. Meng Shuran looked surprised when she saw me. Qianqian, what brings you here? Her eyes darted between Jiang Xiang and me. Did you two have a fight? Was it because Xiang didn't attend your graduation ceremony? She asked me, then she explained. Qianqian, don't get me wrong, this is my first time giving this medical lecture. And it's really important to me. That's why I asked Xiang to stay and help me review it. I didn't expect it would take so long and make him miss your graduation. I'm really sorry. Her words were utterly flawless. It made me seem childish in front of her. That's exactly what I can't stand about her. Seeing my silence, she took my arm and said, "Come on, join us for dinner." She teased Jiang Xiang again. Now that your girlfriend's here, let's skip the cafeteria today. How about Japanese? I haven't had it in ages, Xiang. This one's on you. Then she burst into muffled laughter behind her hand. Silly me, it's always you picking up the tab anyway. Turning to me, she asked, Qianqian, Xiang mentioned you're fond of Japanese cuisine too, right? I froze mid-step, glaring at Jiang Xiang through gritted teeth. Oh really? That's news to me. Meng Shuran frowned slightly. I must have remembered wrong, but no worries. Just say what you'd like to eat, don't stand on ceremony. She was clearly treating me like an outsider. Jiang Xiang didn't seem to find anything amiss either. He stood up, leisurely removing his work jacket. Let's go, Japanese food. I withdrew my arm from Meng Shuran's grasp. You two go ahead, I'm heading home. Then I fled in panic. As I left, I heard Jiang Xiang calmly remark, "Ignore her, she's acting childish. Needs to be taken down a peg, too." That evening, I saw Meng Shuran's WeChat post. It was a photo of Jiang Shiyang bowing his head during her lecture. The caption reads, "Thank goodness you're here." Soon after, another photo of Japanese cuisine appeared. "Thanks for still remembering my taste." I threw my phone aside, clutching the blanket, utterly miserable. I lay awake all night. The next day, Meng Shuaran posted another WeChat moment. It was a photo of Jiang Shiyang sleeping. The caption was dripping with innuendo. "You've worked hard, big guy." Not a single mutual friend liked the post. They probably sent it just to mess with me. My chest felt unbearably tight. A while later, Jiang Xiang texted me, saying, "Mom wants you to come try on the engagement dress. Shuaran's performing her first surgery as lead surgeon today. I need to supervise, so I can't join you." I blocked him immediately. When I went downstairs for dinner, Mom had just finished a call with Jiang Xian's mother. She waved me over with a smile, saying Jiang Xian's mom took the day off to accompany me for dress fittings. She even took time off work to come with me. She rambled on. "I've always liked Jiang Xiang since he was a boy. My instincts were right. He grew up to be such an outstanding man. Qianqian, marrying him would mean you must have saved the world in your past life." Biting my lip, I mustered the courage to say, "Mom, we broke up. The engagement is off." Mom's expression instantly darkened. "Calling off the engagement without notice. Do you think this is some childish game?" I trembled slightly. "I thought Jiang Xiang had told you. Xian's already swamped with work. Yet he still humors your little antics every day. What a saint. When will you ever grow up?" Tears streamed down uncontrollably. "Exactly. I can't grow up. No one ever taught me how since childhood." My quiet father suddenly spoke up. "No reservation. No big deal." Then he asked me, "Not working there anymore?" I replied, "Yeah, Dad, I want to study abroad for a while." Mom grew even angrier and was about to speak, but Dad silenced her with a look. "Go if you want to. After all these years, it's the first time I've seen you so decisive. That's good. Don't worry about the engagement. I'll handle it with your father." At the same time, I got a message from my best friend, Qianqian. "My little brother is having a heart attack. He's at your boyfriend's hospital now, but the admission process is too complicated. I'm afraid he can't wait that long. Could you ask your boyfriend to take a look?" I stayed silent for a few seconds on the phone. My best friend suddenly apologized. "I'm so sorry, Qianqian. I was just too anxious. You've told me you hate this kind of situation. I'll figure it out myself." With a sigh, I said, "I'll head over first." 10 minutes later, I arrived at the hospital. My best friend's younger brother seems to be in critical condition. I asked the nurse why none of the cardiology specialists were around. The nurse muttered that Jiang Xiang had summoned them all to the operating room. It was Meng Shuaran's first time leading a surgery. He wanted to ensure everything went perfectly. Meng Shuaran doesn't have that kind of authority. I know this was Jiang Xian's doing, after all. This entire hospital practically belongs to the Jiang family. I called Jiang Xiang multiple times, but it remained powered off the whole time. I rushed back to wait outside the operating room. After what felt like forever, the operating light finally went out. Jiang Xiang emerged carrying Meng Shuaran in his arms. He shot me a glance. "What are you doing here?" I grabbed his arm. "My friend's younger brother is seriously ill." Before I could finish, Jiang Xiang shook off my grip and strode away. I jogged all the way to his consultation room. He carefully placed Meng Shuaran in his lounge, then sat before the computer, staring intently. I rushed over. "Dr. Jiang, my friend's younger brother is having a heart attack. It's critical. Could you please check on him?" He looked up. "Why are you still here? Isn't my mother waiting for you to try on the wedding dress?" I need to stress this again. "Could you go check on her?" Jiang Xiang let out a faint sigh. "Shuaran just had surgery. I'm worried she might have nightmares." My heart ached terribly, but I pressed on. "Then could you at least arrange for another doctor?" "That's not possible. They need to monitor the patients closely. I can't afford even the slightest mistake." "Jiang Xiang, have you no professional ethics? I told you there's a critical patient outside. As a doctor, the least you could do is check on them." He seemed taken aback by my outburst. Frowning coldly, he said, "Song Qian, how many times must I tell you, in our line of work, empathy is the greatest taboo. No matter how severe the case, hospital protocols come first. I'll go when it's my scheduled time." My voice softened. "Shu Huan is my only friend. I'm begging you." He sneered. "Didn't you just swear yesterday you'd never beg me?" Just this once. Tears welled up uncontrollably in my eyes. Jiang Xiang seemed visibly moved. Suddenly, Meng Shuaran's faint murmur came from inside the room. Xiang, are you there? I'm so scared. Jiang Xiang stood up and said coldly, if you can't wait, you're free to transfer to another hospital. After stepping out of the consultation room, it suddenly hit me I might have lost my only friend. After completing Xu Huan's hospital transfer paperwork, I wandered aimlessly down the street. I lost track of how much time had passed. Suddenly, I found myself in that familiar alley. I was reunited with my birth parents, now the Song family, when I was 12. But life didn't get better. They all looked down on me. My adopted sister kept picking on me, afraid I'd steal all the love from her. She even led the bullying against me at school. Too scared to tell my parents, I endured it in silence, which only made her behavior worse. One day after school, a group of local troublemakers cornered me in that alley. They tore my school uniform to shreds. Then Jiang Xiang appeared like a guardian angel, stepping between me and them. He chased them off, wrapped his own jacket around me, and walked me home. All I know is, the Song household was anything but peaceful that night. The next day, I heard both my brother and adopted sister had gone abroad to study. I complained to Jiang Xiang with a pout, thanks for helping me, but this'll only make them dislike me more. He replied calmly, then become exceptional. What parent wouldn't want an outstanding child? But, I'm really slow at this. He suddenly raised an eyebrow at me. I'm smart. Want me to tutor you? Jiang Xiang had always been emotionally detached since childhood, yet during our tutoring sessions, he became uncharacteristically irritable. I asked sheepishly, see, I told you I'm hopeless, maybe we should just call it quits, but he insisted stubbornly, no way, someone as brilliant as me can definitely teach you. He extended our tutoring sessions, and we often stayed up late studying together. My grades showed remarkable improvement. My parents genuinely grew fonder of me. Meanwhile, subtle shifts occurred in my relationship with Jiang Xiang through our interactions. Both families were happy to encourage our connection. Before we knew it, we'd naturally become a couple. Jiang Xiang shone too brightly at school. I had to push myself hard just to keep up with him. But he'd always reassure me, don't worry, I'll always scout the path ahead for you. Aloof by nature, he never spoke sweet nothings. Nor did he understand how much effort it took for me to feel worthy of him. Still, just having him by my side every day was enough to make me happy. Jiang Xiang was 2 grades ahead of me. His academic performance was so outstanding that he skipped 2 grades and was directly admitted to the city's top university. After he started college, he rarely had time to tutor me anymore. I had to work even harder to get into the same university as him. But the year I finally entered university, Jiang Xian's brother suddenly showed up at the Jiang residence with Meng Shuaran. Xiang, this is my girlfriend. I've enrolled her in your school, look out for her. Not long after, Jiang Xian's brother died in a plane crash during flight training. The Jiang family treated this girl, the only one Jiang Xiu ever brought home, as their daughter-in-law. They allowed her to stay at the Jiang residence, provided her with the finest educational resources, and meticulously planned her future. Just like that, Jiang Xian's and my carefully ordered lives were completely upended. Meng Shuaran would suddenly appear whenever Jiang Xiang was tutoring me, flashing a radiant smile. Qianqian, could you lend me your boyfriend for a bit? I've got some questions for him, she'd call abruptly during our dates. Xiang, my kitten's gone missing, it's the only keepsake your elder brother left me. Could you help me find it? She'd crash my birthday uninvited, get tipsy after a few drinks, then insist Jiang Xiang take her home. But she acted so nonchalant about it that I couldn't even vent my frustration. Over time, the tension between Jiang Xiang and me kept growing. With a mix of hurt and hesitation, I asked him, could you stop prioritizing her all the time? I'm your girlfriend, remember? Jiang Xiang retorted, don't be jealous of her, she's my sister-in-law. My late brother made me promise repeatedly to take good care of her. Later, our fights became more frequent, to the point where we even talked about breaking up. Then Meng Shuaran came over to lecture me. Qianqian, don't overthink it, Xiang only treats me this way because he's looking out for me. Stop acting like a childish girl constantly threatening to break up, it really damages the relationship. Furious, I lashed out without thinking, if you know this affects our relationship, Then why do you keep bothering Jiang Xiang over and over? He's not your boyfriend, why should he even be buying your sanitary products? What? Are you lusting after your own brother-in-law? Jiang Xiang snapped at me. Song Qian, after all these years, you still haven't learned how to speak properly. Apologize to Shuaran now, not a chance. Fine, have it your way, we're through. And just like that, he completely cut me off. Left alone, I toss and turn every night. In the end, I swallowed my pride and went crawling back to him. Time and again, I made Jiang Xiang believe I could never leave him. 1 month before graduation, I was pulling all-nighters for my final exams, suddenly felt short of breath and light-headed. My parents went abroad again for business negotiations. I called Jiang Xiang. Xiang, I'm not feeling well, could you? Before I could finish, Meng Shuaran's coquettish voice interrupted. Oh dear, this is my first time encountering such a case. What should I do? Xiang, this is the patient you assigned me. You must analyze the treatment plan today. I forbid you to go home as punishment. Xiang said tenderly. All right. Then he hung up the phone. I stubbornly called again. The call was immediately declined. I had no choice but to call my best friend. Then I blacked out. I woke up in the hospital the next day. My best friend texted me saying she went to grab breakfast for me. I slowly rose and walked to the door of Jiang Xian's consultation room. Meng Shuaran's voice came from inside. Xiang, you're awake. Call your girlfriend back already. She's probably furious after you hung up on her last night. Jiang Xiang, not calling, Meng Shuaran pleaded coyly. Please, just go comfort her, or she'll blame me again for ruining your relationship. Jiang Xiang said irritably. Let her think whatever she wants. Not even going to comfort her. Nope. What if she threatens to break up with you again? Then it's over. At that moment, my heart completely turned to ice. 5. Before going abroad, Jiang Xian's mother called to invite me to his grandfather's birthday banquet. Aunt Lu said, Xiao Qian, even if you can't be my daughter-in-law, must we become complete strangers? Aunt Lu treats me really well, even better than my own mother does. I have no reason to turn her down. Besides, my parents aren't even home. Our family absolutely needed to send a representative. So I picked out some gifts and went to the Jiang residence. Jiang Xiang answered the door, looking at me with unspoken words. I still felt somewhat flustered facing him. She murmured with lowered head, Excuse me. Jiang Xiang didn't budge. I shoved past him and walked in. Meng Shuaran emerged with the air of a hostess. Qianqian's here. Oh dear. You shouldn't have brought gifts. I ignored her and snatched the gift she was about to take. Meng Shuaran suddenly pouted at Jiang Xiang. Xiang, you still haven't managed to cheer her up. Before Jiang Xiang could respond, I turned around and said, I don't need anyone to cheer me up, and I'm not angry. I simply don't want the gift I prepared for Grandpa Lu to end up in an outsider's hands. Meng Shuaran burst into laughter. Still claiming you're not mad, now you're implying I'm an outsider. Xiang, your little girlfriend is quite the character. Jiang Xian's face turned livid. Song Qian, do you realize what you're saying? Apologize now. Meng Shuaran waved her hand dismissively. Drop it. Xiang, why make such a federal case out of it? I'm not some child who gets offended over nothing. I couldn't help shouting at Jiang Xiang. You know damn well whether you treat her as your sister-in-law or your girlfriend. The moment these words were spoken, the entire Jiang family came pouring out. Jiang Xian's face flushed crimson in an instant. The normally composed man now looked visibly flustered. His first instinct was to explain to Meng Shuaran, don't listen to her nonsense. Meng Shuaran also grew upset. Qianqian, Xiang and I only have a proper sister-in-law relationship. How could you think that way? What will people say if this gets out? Song Qian, apologize. Jiang Xiang growled through clenched teeth. What? Did I say something wrong? Jiang Xiang grabbed my wrist. Don't get cocky just because my parents like you. Aunt Lu quickly stepped in to separate us. After shooting Jiang Xiang a glare, she turned to me gently. Qianqian, let's eat first. We can talk about this after dinner. Tears welled up in my eyes again. Auntie, I won't stay for dinner. Since Jiang Xiang and I have called off the engagement, there's no point. What did you say? Jiang Xiang grabbed my hand again. Called off the engagement. Who said you could do that? I gave a bitter smile. Isn't that what you do when you break up? Jiang Xiang demanded. Are you serious about this? Song Qian, you said this in front of my entire family. Don't you dare regret it. I glanced at Meng Shuoran before meeting his gaze. Don't worry, no one will bother you two anymore. 6. I thought Jiang Xiang and I were completely over. To my surprise, Jiang Xiang actually came to my place unannounced before my overseas trip, reeking of alcohol. My parents told me to have a serious talk with him. I led him to the backyard garden. Speak up, what's this about? Jiang Xiang said bluntly. Can we not call off the engagement? You'd actually say that. I scoffed. Aunt Lu put you up to this, didn't she, Song Qian? You're crossing the line now. Jiang Xiang rubbed his temples. I'll admit I've made scenes before, but this time I'm dead serious. Song Qian, grow up already. He sighed. You're really exhausting me like this. I found it somewhat amusing, but just as I was about to speak, his phone rang again. Then came a panicked woman's voice. Shiyang, Xiao Mi's gone missing again. I didn't want to bother you, but I've searched everywhere. Shiyang, she means everything to me. Could you please help? Gazing into Jiang Xian's moved expression, I ventured with a sliver of hope. Stay tonight, and I promise not to call off the engagement. If he stayed, I could somehow make peace with everything that had happened before. Jiang Xiang tightened his grip on the phone. Qianqian, please understand, I promised your brother I'd take good care of her. For some reason, I suddenly felt relieved and said calmly, go ahead. Just as I reached the door, he turned and said, your position at the hospital is all set. If you're well rested, you can come tomorrow to get familiar with the place. What he really meant was, if I suspected anything between him and Meng Shuoran, I should come keep an eye on him. That was his way of yielding to me, but I no longer needed it. 6. Before going abroad, I asked Aunt Lu to keep this news under wraps for me, so the trip went relatively smoothly. After arriving overseas, I got a new SM card and resolved to start fresh. Then one day, my advisor invited a renowned domestic expert for an academic exchange. My mind went blank the moment I saw Jiang Xian's message. Did he come specifically to see me? A strange mix of excitement and anticipation bubbled up inside me. I'm the only Chinese in the team, and my advisor assigned me to lead this exchange event. I was utterly nervous inside. But before the event day arrived, Jiang Xiang confronted me. You turned down the job I arranged for you. Just for this college, I snapped. That's not it. This place just happens to be farther from you. Jiang Xiang suddenly sighed. Enough. Stop fooling around and come back with me. I pushed him away. I'm doing perfectly fine with my studies here. Why should I go back with you? What could you possibly learn here? I'll mentor you if you return. His tone reeked of arrogance. Jiang Xiang, we've already broken up, I reiterated firmly. Song Qian, that old trick's getting stale from overuse. When I remained silent, he suddenly sighed. Fine, my bad, I apologize. You're coming back with me later. Jiang Xiang actually apologizing. Now that's a rare sight. I asked, did Aunt Lu send you? Jiang Xiang replied, I came on my own. I asked, why? Haven't seen you in ages. He spoke with such calmness that no emotion could be detected in his words, yet it sent my heart racing wildly. With Jiang Xiang, I'm always like this, utterly incapable of controlling my emotions. Just as my hardened heart was about to soften again, a familiar voice poured cold water on me again. Shiyang, Meng Shuoran appeared before me. She looked utterly shocked when she saw me. Qianqian, you're here too. No wonder I haven't seen you lately. Are you working or studying here? She suddenly pouted. Shiyang, why didn't you tell me? Had I known, I wouldn't have come to avoid making Qianqian misunderstand again. I replied with a smile. Don't worry, I won't misunderstand. We broke up long ago. Who he's with and what he does is his own business, it's got nothing to do with me. Jiang Xiang sighed. Alright, Qianqian, enough already, we just got here, and you know the area, take us to eat first. I was so mad I could only laugh, rolled my eyes and walked away. 7. On the day of the exchange event, Jiang Xian's entrance sent waves of squeals through the female students and faculty. When Meng Shuoran took the stage, the male audience erupted in equally enthusiastic cheers. The crowd below openly conversed in foreign languages without restraint. That Chinese expert is seriously handsome. With all that experience, I expected some old guy, never imagined he'd be this young. The girl next to him is quite stunning too. Wonder if they're a couple. They suddenly turned to me. Song Qian, you've interacted with them the most. Any idea what their relationship is? I replied, no clue. If you're curious, go ask them yourself. After the seminar, someone actually went and asked. Too intimidated by Dr. Jiang's icy demeanor, they approached the warm and approachable Meng Shuoran instead. I distinctly heard Meng Shuoran reply fluently in a foreign language, Dr. Jiang and I are in a relationship. We've been together for many years. The crowd dispersed, and she walked up to me. Qianqian, did you hear what I just said? I nodded. Yeah, I heard you. She apologized. Sorry about that. I just wanted to avoid unnecessary trouble. I said, yeah, no need to apologize or explain anything to me. Jiang Xiang walked over. Meng Shuoran shrugged. Xiang, seems I've upset your girlfriend again. Jiang Xiang asked me, mad? I shook my head. No way. Instead of looking pleased with the answer, he stared straight at me. Why? I pointed at the actor I'd hired in advance. Because I have a boyfriend. Why would I get upset over some other guy? Jiang Xian's face darkened instantly. Say that again. Who is he? I walked over and linked arms with the handsome foreign guy. I'd say the same thing 10,000 times over. Jiang Xiang was livid. Song Qian, you've got guts. Don't you dare regret this. 8. Jiang Xiang and Meng Shuoran left overnight. I heaved a huge sigh of relief. Why does my heart feel so hollow again? The moment I have downtime, my thoughts inevitably drift to Jiang Xiang and our past together. Turns out completely detaching someone you once loved most from your very being is truly difficult. Just the slightest thought of him makes my heart ache unbearably. So I packed my schedule to the brim every single day. I wanted to exhaust myself enough to fall asleep the moment my head hit the pillow. But ever since that conference, whispers about Jiang Xiang and Meng Shuoran kept reaching my ears. Did you see Dr. Meng's post? She and Dr. Jiang look so happy together, they even get to work side by side. They have a saying, a talented scholar and a beautiful lady, what a perfect match. Wow, Dr. Meng updated her love diary again today. She overheard that Dr. Jiang is preparing a huge birthday surprise for her special day. OMG, Dr. Jiang is such a smooth operator. He literally gift-wrapped himself for his girlfriend. What are they up to tonight? So hard to guess. My hands trembled around the phone, heart pounding wildly. All those I don't care lies shattered the moment I saw them together. The pain hit harder than I ever imagined. It hurt so much I could barely breathe. That photo Meng Shuoran posted, Jiang Xian's silhouette in the bathroom, sent my heart into a frantic gallop. It made me retch uncontrollably. Jiang Xiang, you finally ended up with the one you love. Happy now. But I'm sorry, I can't bring myself to wish you well. Eventually I pushed myself to socialize, to travel, to participate in all sorts of activities and meet all kinds of people. Just when I thought I was finally moving on, Aunt Lu called me. She said, Qianqian, I didn't want to bother you, but I can't bear seeing Xiang in this state. I can tell he's full of regrets, regretting not keeping you by his side, regretting not bringing you back from abroad, and most of all, he hasn't shown up at the hospital for ages, and none of us can reach him. Qianqian, if he comes to you, could you please let me know? After hanging up the phone, I let out a heavy sigh while staring at Jiang Xiang before me. I expected love to have nourished him with radiance. But instead he'd become disheveled in ways I'd never seen before. His hair was unkempt, his beard scruffy, his clothes looked unchanged for days, a far cry from his usual polished appearance. His voice came out hoarse. Qianqian, I've been here for days. You've always been alone, you never had a boyfriend. Did you? You lied to me back then, didn't you? I admitted. So what if I did? He suddenly gave a bitter laugh. How heartless. I asked. Why did you come looking for me? Jiang Xiang said, I'm here to study with you. I snapped. Jiang Xiang, have you lost your mind? Jiang Xiang replied, I'm perfectly sane. Trust me, I can thrive even in this place. Why? Qianqian, let's get back together. Shall we? Just like before, you focus on your studies, and I'll tutor you. After a long silence, I asked, Jiang Xiang, did you sleep with her? The air froze instantly, only the sound of ragged breathing remained. I sat there on pins and needles. Jiang Xiang finally nodded after what felt like an eternity. His confirmation pierced my heart like 1,000 needles. The pain made me dizzy, yet I forced composure, saying, what makes you think I'd want a rotten cucumber, Jiang Xiang? I admit you're exceptional, but you're not my only option. Qianqian, let me explain. Explain what? The alcohol, the heat of the moment, mistaking her for me. Jiang Xiang, None of that changes the fact you slept with her. You should know, after what you've done, there's no going back for us, Qianqian. Must it be this way? What's this now? Realized she wasn't as perfect as you imagined after being with her? Or are you getting nostalgic for the version of me who used to fawn over you like some lovesick puppy? Qianqian, don't talk about yourself like that, isn't it true? I suddenly lost control of my emotions, shouting with a trembling voice, Jiang Shiyang, you've always been so arrogant since childhood. While I've always been full of insecurities, yet someone like me fell hopelessly in love with you. Do you know why I'm always the one to apologize after our fights? First, because I love you, and I choose to. Second, because I feel inadequate. I know how exceptional your admirers are, and I fear truly losing you. Third, because you never gave me a sense of security, always making me feel no amount of effort could ever make you stay. These years have exhausted me. But at least now, I no longer love you. Jiang Xiang covered his face, sobbing uncontrollably. It was the first time I'd seen him in such a wretched state, but I won't soften my heart again. Jiang Xiang was like poison, just a taste would leave you addicted, and I just barely managed to quit. 9. Jiang Xiang still hadn't gone back. He followed me around every single day, yet always maintained this delicate distance. He never interferes with my life or affects my social circle. Except when someone confesses to me, then his fists clench. The next day, that person would show up bruised and avoid me at all costs. I said, Jiang Xiang, cut it out. Jiang Xiang gave a bitter smile. I used to say this all the time, but only now do I realize how painful it feels when the tables are turned. Qianqian, I'm sorry, I said. Jiang Xiang, let bygones be bygones. Can we both move on with our lives? Jiang Xiang lowered his head in silence. I sighed helplessly. At least let me start anew, okay? Jiang Xiang, I've had a wretched life, abandoned by my birth parents as a child. Then mistreated by my adoptive family who made me do the hardest chores and beat me or starved me when I couldn't manage. Later, my biological parents found me. They were wealthy, and I thought my life would finally turn around, but I was wrong. While they pretended to be overjoyed at reclaiming their long-lost daughter, they secretly saw me as an embarrassment. My brother resented me, my stepsister bullied me, and in the end, my parents blamed me for disrupting their picture-perfect family. They even said it would have been better if they'd never found me. I grew more insecure by the day. I endured the abuse in silence, terrified they might lose me again, because then I'd truly have nowhere to call home. Jiang Xiang, from the moment you walked into my life, I was smitten. That day when our families got together and everyone else shunned me, you were the only one who came over to talk and handed me a drink. Then you saved me again, that night. You stood up for me in front of my family, arguing my case until my parents finally realized how much they'd failed their own daughter. After that, you promised to help me become extraordinary, someone everyone would adore. Back then, I couldn't help wondering, does everyone include you too? Qianqian, please stop. I ignored him, wiped away my tears, and continued, but I could only bury these feelings deep inside. I was terrified you'd be disgusted if you knew, then I'd never get to stay by your side again. So I desperately tried to excel at everything, to keep up with your pace, but I was just too inept. No matter how hard I tried, I could never shine. Just when I was about to give up, our parents suddenly arranged our marriage, and to my surprise, you didn't refuse. You know, I was so thrilled during that time I couldn't sleep night after night. Eventually, we gradually started doing things couples normally do. You told me to study hard so we could work together someday. That's why I chose medicine, the most challenging field. Gradually, more and more people began praising me. Just when I thought I was worthy to stand by your side, Meng Shuran appeared. Her beauty, grace, and intelligence exposed every inch of my insecurity. Looking back, I realize I didn't actually dislike her, I envied her. I envied how her confidence let her demand anything from you without hesitation. Never worrying about rejection or walking on eggshells around you. What I envied most was how she could make you abandon me, over and over again. Every day I ask myself why does no one ever choose me? No matter how hard I try, when there are two options, I'm always the one left behind. I thought this might be how my life would end up, but I just can't accept it. I want to prove myself, prove I can thrive without any of you. And I'm almost there, so Jiang Xiang, will you just let me go? After saying all that, I collapsed in exhaustion, but I also felt incredibly relieved. After all this time, I can finally face my imperfect self. 10. Jiang Xiang finally came home. Before long, Meng Shuran called. Song Qian, what on earth did you say to Shi Yang? He's locked himself in his room without eating or drinking since he got back 3 days now. Are you trying to kill him? I replied. Let him die then, not my problem. I hung up immediately. Soon after, my dad called, come home. Do it for Uncle Jiang and Aunt Lu's sake. I've booked my flight back home. Rushed straight to the Jiang residence without stopping. Meng Shuran answered the door, her usual confident arrogance gone. Instead, she glared at me with resentment. Are you happy with how things turned out? Xiang detests me. The Jiangs treat me like an outsider, Song Qian. I just don't understand. What exactly makes you better than me? Without a word, I walked past her straight to Jiang Xian's room. Jiang Xiang. Open the door. The door flew open instantly as Jiang Xiang pulled me into a tight embrace. Qianqian, you're back. Please don't leave again. Jiang Xiang, when will you get it? There's no future for us. Meng Shuran sneered from the side. If you know it's hopeless, you should disappear completely. A decent ex should be like the dead. Jiang Xiang roared. Shut the hell up. Meng Shuran lifted her chin defiantly. Jiang Xiang, do you remember your promises? You said you'd take responsibility for me. What do you call this? Jiang Xiang buried his face in my shoulder, weeping like a child. Please, stop. Just stop. Qianqian, I never wanted this. There was never anything between us. I never had feelings for her. I only ever treated her as my elder brother's wife. Nothing more. Qianqian, I was wrong. Wrong to be so arrogantly certain you'd never leave me no matter what. Wrong to keep abandoning you over some foolish promise I made to my brother. Worst of all, wrong to let jealousy cloud my judgment when I saw you with another man, ruining everything between us with my petty actions. I've messed up, beyond forgiveness. I pushed him away. Jiang Xiang, whatever happened between you two doesn't matter. I'm exhausted. You know I only came back for Uncle Jiang and Aunt Lu, not for you. Don't make this harder than it has to be. Jiang Xiang leaned against the doorframe, his body gradually slumping down. I pulled out a stack of photos from my bag, all taken during my time abroad, classes, work, socializing, traveling. I crouched down and showed them to him one by one. Jiang Xiang, I truly love my life now. These days, I've felt a freedom like never before. I don't worry about whether others will dislike me, whether you'll leave me, or whether those around me will abandon me. I'm no longer suspicious, sensitive, or insecure. Jiang Xiang, you should be happy for me. I've grown up, haven't I? Jiang Xiang smiled bitterly. Yes, Qianqian has finally grown up. She won't throw childish tantrums like before. I'm the one who lost that clumsy girl who used to sulk so easily. I stood up. Jiang Xiang, I'm leaving. Jiang Xiang lowered his head, his voice trembling. 11. I returned abroad. I no longer follow the same old routine in study and life, but constantly push myself to try new things. Truth be told, I lied to Jiang Xiang back then, after years of low self-esteem. How could I change overnight? How could I not fear being abandoned by those around me? But as I gained more experience, I gradually came to terms with those emotional entanglements. I've come to understand that ultimately, no matter what, we all must walk our path alone in this world. A year later, Aunt Lu gave me a call. She casually asked if I had a boyfriend. I straight up told her, Aunt Lu, there's really no chance between me and Jiang Xiang anymore. Aunt Lu sounded genuinely disappointed. We had a long conversation. They said Jiang Xiang gradually pulled himself together after that time I went back, but he went through life and work like a puppet on strings, never speaking an unnecessary word to anyone. Then one day, he suddenly came back and had a huge fight with Meng Shuran. The gist was that he realized that hookup had been deliberately orchestrated by Meng Shuran. Meng Shuran tearfully dragged Jiang Xian's elder brother into the conversation again. Jiang Xiang wasn't having it and yelled at her. I've fucking taken care of you to the point of sleeping with you. What more do you want? Meng Shuran, do you realize, if it weren't for you, I'd be married to Qianqian by now? Meng Shuran sneered. What's so great about that uptight country bumpkin? Aunt Lu initially wanted no part in this, but finally couldn't help rushing out to say, at least I'm better than you, you fickle woman. Don't think I don't know what's on your mind, whether it's Jiang Xiu or Jiang Shiyang. Do you really care about them as people? You're only after the status they can give you. Meng Shuoran was thrown out of the Jiang household that very night. Soon after, she lost her job at the hospital too. Stripped of her status as the Jiang family's daughter-in-law, few people paid her any attention afterwards. Jiang Xiang occasionally sends me a few messages. I'd give him token replies in return. As he puts it, even if we can't be lovers, must we cut all ties? Your advisor has invited me over for academic exchanges 3 or 4 times already. Whatever, honestly, I couldn't care less anymore. The END, Jiang Shiyang, 1. I first met Qianqian at one of my mom's dinner parties. She never quite fit in with the other kids, wide-eyed and fidgety. She moved through the world like a startled fawn, yet her own family seemed to hold her at arm's length. They always looked right through her, curious. I handed her a drink, which she took with trembling hands. She couldn't bring herself to meet my gaze. When I asked her questions, she'd blush and stammer in response, as if I were some terrifying figure. I got bored and walked away. Later at school, I saw her again. She was being bullied by her younger sister leading the charge. I've always believed that those who deserve pity have their own flaws. I didn't help her, until that afternoon after school. When I saw her pinned against the wall by some punk kids, sobbing her heart out, her frail body kept struggling, eyes filled with utter despair, I rushed over and stepped in. As I draped the coat over her shoulders, I saw the countless scars covering her body, fresh wounds layered over old ones. A horrifying patchwork, a sight that chilled me to the bone. I asked, "Why didn't you tell Uncle Song and the others when you were bullied?" She lowered her head and whispered, "I don't want them to think I'm coming between them. I don't understand." She tugged at my sleeve pleadingly, "Please don't say anything. Song Wei's tricks mean nothing to me. I can handle it." "Why should you have to?" "Because I'm terrified of going back to that house again." Then it hit me, those old scars were left in that very home. For a moment there, I was genuinely moved. I took her home and spent the whole night arguing with the Songs on my own initiative. Fortunately, Uncle Song is quite reasonable. They decided to send Song Wei abroad for studies. Even Qianqian's good-for-nothing brother insisted on accompanying his sister. "Go ahead, all of you. I've had it with those 2 siblings for a long time, too." Qianqian is really quite dim. I never knew I had this much patience in me. I can actually tutor someone this slow. It often drives me absolutely crazy. But gradually I realized I didn't actually mind it. In fact, it brought unexpected joy to my life. Our whole family is highly intelligent. Then suddenly this delightfully clumsy girl came along. Seems pretty interesting. So I'd deliberately give her tricky problems, just to watch her struggle and blush before asking me to explain. But every time after explaining, I'd catch her staring at my face without blinking. When I noticed, she'd suddenly lower her head in a fluster. My fingers are nearly raw from all this picking. What an idiot. Can't even hide their crush properly. But if they enjoy looking, I'll let them look their fill. I deliberately extended her tutoring hours just to keep her around longer. My mom really likes this sweet, kind, and well-mannered girl too. She asked if I had any intentions. I said, "She's a bit slow if I come on too strong. I might scare her off." My mom wasn't fazed. She straight up dragged Qianqian's parents into arranging our engagement. That night, she witnessed my complete awkwardness throughout the whole ordeal. I tapped her forehead teasingly. "What's with the days? Shouldn't you be stepping up your game when your future husband's this perfect?" Her face turned as red as an apple in an instant. Absolutely adorable. 3. I noticed Song Qian's deep-seated insecurity shortly after meeting her. But she never dared to show it. A girl has her pride, and I need to protect that. Since she's my fiancé, I should keep my distance from other girls in public. Honestly, I'd rather be surrounded by guys. Until Meng Shuoran showed up, her anxiety peaked. She resented me doing anything for Meng Shuoran. But I think it's more about her crippling inferiority complex around Meng Shuoran. I just don't get it. After all I've done, why can't she trust me? We've been fighting constantly lately. I was swamped with work back then, too busy to comfort her, but she bounced back on her own pretty quickly. Soon she was tagging along after me like an eager puppy. Though she'd always get jealous over Meng Shuoran, she can stay mad for ages over the tiniest things. I think she's being way too childish. I just wanted to teach her a lesson. I also wanted her to understand she doesn't need to compare herself to anyone, she's perfect as herself. Little did I know it would only disappoint her more. She said she wanted to call off our engagement. That day I sat alone in the garden drinking heavily, but ultimately decided to go see her, yet he thought my mother had sent me. After being put on a pedestal for so long, I've almost forgotten how to bow my head. Truth be told, I don't even remember how. She's insecure. Fine, I'll let her come supervise me at the hospital. Yet she quietly slipped away abroad. When I came to my senses, I realized I hadn't seen her for months. I went out of my way to contact her advisor through connections, proposing an academic exchange visit. When Meng Shuaran found out, she begged me to take her along. I think I should introduce her to more people. That way she'll adapt better when transferred to other hospitals later. I thought Qianqian would be thrilled to see me coming. Never expected her to be so stubborn this time, downright pig-headed. Refused point-blank to come back with me, then later just completely ignored me. Didn't even get angry about Meng Shuaran anymore. I felt this heavy tightness in my chest, an inexplicable panic. I asked her why she wasn't angry. She just pointed at some foreign guy with blonde hair and said she had a boyfriend. Well, that was quick. Already got herself a boyfriend, and here I was, planning our future together. I was so furious that I flew back home overnight. I'm absolutely livid. How could she just move on to someone else while I'm still planning our future together? My mind was in such turmoil that I kept making mistakes at work. Meng Shuaran eventually couldn't stand watching me like that, so she brought some alcohol to my office, saying it'd help me unwind. What I didn't realize was that she'd spiked the drinks. Nor did I notice how much her outfit that day resembled Qianqian's. When I woke up the next morning, I was utterly devastated. I betrayed not only Qianqian, but also my sworn brother. I locked myself in the room, refusing to come out. Meng Shuaran came to see me many times. Through tears, she said she'd leave if there was no other way. With no other choice, I promised to take responsibility for her, but I didn't have feelings for her. I only obeyed her every word because of my elder brother. My brother treated me exceptionally well, and she was the woman he loved most. My heart is heavy with unease. All I could think about was going abroad to find Qianqian. I wondered if I saw how happy she looked with her boyfriend. Maybe this guilt would fade. Reality check, she never had a boyfriend to begin with. I blame myself. Why did it take me so long to realize? How could someone as insecure as Qianqian get a boyfriend so quickly? I'm torn between frustration and joy, but Qianqian's words snapped me out of it completely. I don't know who told her about my affair with Meng Shuaran. All I saw in her eyes was pure disgust. In our relationship, I'd always held the upper hand. Only now do I realize how wretched it feels to be the lesser one. 5. Qianqian has truly grown up. She's developed her own way of thinking. I've secretly visited her place many times, catching glimpses of her life, seeing how happy she is. I couldn't bring myself to disturb her. I drove Meng Shuaran away. But I know Qianqian won't come back because of this either. There will always be this rift between us, a divide so deep we'll never meet again in this life. I suppose I'll end up growing old alone. The end.